and welcome to Walking Wednesdays. We'll be starting in just a few minutes. We're just waiting for the last few people to log in. Look who's logged in already. Have we got Sam yet? Sam, you know the one that Joe ran the marathon with? Are you all comfy? And have you got an alcoholic drink? No, Jo Po's just having a quick wee. She won't be long. Oh, hello everybody. Stop it. Stop. Stop. We don't need all that clapping. Stop. Well, hello, here we are again. Hello everybody and welcome back to Walking Wednesdays. Well, thank you all so much for watching last week. Whew, sorry, I'm a little nervous, a little bit excited. We made a huge amount of money for the Rise charity and we had over, wait for it, 300 views! Bonkers! Thank you. What's happening? Oh. So, the glitter walking tour last week was only supposed to be a one-off, but after the Beautiful Spice's lovely mention on Fact Hunt last week, my little Bembo, he got so excited that I agreed to do another. Now, bearing in mind, I was pretty drunk at the time. So before you knew it, I had a costume on, and within an hour, Ben had made a poster and set up an event page. So how could I have possibly said no to those beautifully twinkly eyes in the morning when I woke up sober? Fuck my life. So, this episode, you will be pleased to know, is much shorter than the last one. I was aware that I did drone on for quite a long time last week. And I'm also aware that we're only now allowed officially 30 minutes of exercise a day. So it's much shorter. We're going to round this up in about 30 minutes. You'll be pleased to know. So, just to give you a quick update of what we've been up to this week in the Walking Wednesday production studio. There have, of course, been some highlights. I've now reached level 320 on Candy Crush Saga. Life goals achieved, yes. I've also cut my own hair. We've got a little montage here of that wonderful experience. There you go. That's how it started. A little bit more came off. And oh, I don't think that was too bad. I don't think that's too bad a job considering I used a bread knife. But obviously with all of the highs there has to be some low points. One of them, I tried out some new ways of exercising during my allocated 30 minutes. And we have a little video here that Ben took without me knowing. There you go. Let's have a look. Yes. Thank you, Ben. Thank you. There's also another low point. Another low point of my week is I have broken my toe. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I've actually broken my toe. So, how does anyone break their toe from walking from one room to another room? I was drunk, but I've had it confirmed on the phone by my doctor that my toe is more than likely broken. Brilliant. So, on that point, let's have a drink. The glue that is holding this shit show together. Lovely. Hope you're all joining in with me here. I certainly know James and Ivor now. So, there's a lovely new wine, talking of wine, that I have started drinking since lockdown started. I cannot recommend it highly enough. I think it's sold in supermarkets, but it's definitely sold in most corner shops. And I like to call it the breakfast wine. Looking forward to your reviews next week. So, once again, we have our lovely little glamorous assistant, Minnie Jopo, to help us with today's tour. Now, bearing in mind, neither of us were very good at drama or languages at school, so please bear this in mind. Please try not to be too offended. Little Minnie Jopo, she would like to just say hello. You hello, Jojo?
Bonjour! Au revoir!
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. And that was pretty much a synopsis of my French oral exam. So, anyway, let's just get started on this tour. Here we are in Gay Paris. Gay Paris, indeed. So Paris, it wasn't always called Paris. It was actually originally a Roman city called Lutetia, which derives from the Latin, a place near a swamp. Now, Paris is a really popular city for travellers, known as the City of Love, and the streets overflow with culture, art, beauty and history. Paris is also known as the City of Lights, and that's not simply because of its historical period of enlightenment. It's also because they were one of the first cities to install street lights. Ben would like to highlight that these are actually Paris street lights. Look, there's not something you just grabbed off the internet. They are from Paris. So, moving on. Romance and magic is deep threaded across the city. In fact, by law, no buildings can exceed 6 stories. Now, why? Pour que tout le monde ait du soleil, so that we can all have sunshine. Now, I think that is particularly wonderful indeed. Now, getting around in Paris, that's a different issue. The craziness of driving rivals other major cities like Rome. And you all have to have the nerves of steel to do so, and Parisians aren't renowned for their considerate driving. The fact is that only one stop sign exists. Scrap that! Make that no stop signs exist, thanks to that one lone stop sign being removed in 2012. Happy driving! So, the other way to get around is the Paris Underground Metro. Now, this is known for its density within the city limits, uniform architecture and unique entrances influenced by the Art Nouveau. It's the second busiest metro system in Europe and the 10th busiest in the world. It carries over 4 million passengers a day with 245 stations over 34 square miles. Now, it might be worth mentioning that the Paris Metro, it does not announce their stop signs like other major cities. So don't fall asleep on your commute, or who knows where you might wake up. Hopefully not in someone else's bed. So if you like feeling a little bit creeped out, I hate that picture. You would be interested to know that many of the city's metro stations were closed off when France entered World War II and have been shut ever since. The Croix Rouge stop in the Latin Quarter is most well known for the abandoned group, but it's actually illegal to visit them apart from the rarely open public days. Spooky! Now, even more spooky is that there is an underground lake beneath the Paris Opera House. Well, people call it a lake, but it's actually really a large water tank. Still, it's super eerie, and it is what inspired the Phantom of the Opera's Lair by Gaston Leroux. Now, sadly, the lake isn't open to the public. Only firefighters use it to practice swimming in the dark. Now, I can't imagine anything more horrifying than swimming in the dark with these firefighters. Whew, moving on. Even more scary is that in 1984, city cleaners reported that an animal had been spotted swimming in the sewer's water. City's firemen investigated, and what they discovered astonished them. Question: can anyone guess what animal that was? Anyone? Anyone? We got any guesses coming in? Then anyone?
No, not yet.
No.
Wayne broke his toe kicking the Hoover one.
Kicking a Hoover. I think I have that baby Hoover, and it's covered.
Oh, and so is Basement Sue.
It's got loads of glitter in it from last
Basement
week.
Sue was also broken her toe.
Basement.
Craig says a dolphin.
Hi, Craig!
He says dolphin, maybe.
A dolphin. Maybe. Good guess. Good guess.
Ivan's put me.
Me? No. I
Craig.
don't. Oh, no.
Duncan Hines put monkey.
Duncan from University. Hello. Hi.
Susan Coleman put duck.
Duck. Quack quack. Shall we ask Minnie Jopo? She always loves to show off this little Jopo. Shall we ask her? Jopo, darling, you in there? What's the answer?
And the answer is
Crocodile. It was a crocodile. Glitter on the pen carpet again. Sorry, John. Let me
Shelley Bond was
over.
close.
It's going to be a
alligator.
mortgage, isn't it? Alligator. Close. It was close, but it's not right. That was more Scottish, wasn't it? Sorry, Chapel. So, thanks, Joe Perry. The answer was crocodile, and that crocodile measured 1 metre long. Now, Ben would like to mention, after deep and thorough research on the internet, he found a picture of that actual croc, and here he is. What a gorgeous specimen.
2 minutes on Google.
two whole minutes. So, anyway, we have put an illustration of how long a metre is. I've also added that to a picture of what 2 metres looks like. Because clearly some fucking people in this town do not understand what 2 metres looks like. Just saying, if I can feel your breath on my neck, you are too fucking close. We're not too many swear words, sorry. We need a jar, don't we? We can't, I cannot swear anymore. Right, let's go back to the script. The funniest thing about this story is that the crocodile had somehow swam all the way from the Nile. Wowzers! Now, that brave little croc now enjoys his life at the Vans Aquarium in Brittany. Anyway, of course, this is a cheesy tour of Paris. Cheese is linked deeply into the culture and history of France, and it would be wrong to do a tour without mentioning a thing or two about cheese. So, cheese, of course, is the world's most wonderful, weird and bizarre foods. There are thousands of varieties of it out there, and it's eaten in different ways across the globe, mostly through the mouth, I'd like to mention. Cheese is unlike any other food on earth, and people who love cheese are called churros! So hello out there, my little churros. So at this point, I was going to talk to you a little bit about the history of cheese, but I'm trying to keep this tour short, yeah? So, and quite frankly, if you don't know what fucking cheese is, then you need to be shot. You're stupid. You shouldn't be on this tour. Right, so let's move on. Next. Let's go to our first destination, and this is going to be, thank you little Jopo, the Eiffel Tower. Beautiful, just here, just there. The Eiffel Tower stands proudly on the Champs de Mars in the heart of Paris. It is just over 1,000 feet tall and has 3 accessible floors and is named after Gustave Eiffel. the head designer tasked in making his dream of the tower a reality. Now, construction on the Eiffel Tower was completed in 1889, just in time for the World's Fair, in which it played an important role. It was originally agreed that the tower would be dismantled and destroyed at the end of the event. But it was all saved thanks to Mr. Eiffel's efforts, who promoted it as a tool for scientific studies, radio and television experiments. So thanks to him, we still have that beautiful tower. Now, for a time, the Eiffel Tower was the tallest man-made structure in the world. However, the Chrysler Building in New York surpassed it in 1930s. The question is, why do Americans have to be so bloody competitive? Now there's a question. So, the Eiffel Tower, moving on. The Eiffel Tower, 20,000 light bulbs to create this artistic and glistening effect. And don't even think about posting your snaps of this nighttime extravaganza. It is actually illegal to publish nighttime photos of the Eiffel Tower, as this lighting is considered as an art installation and is something you need direct permission to reshare. So just think about that next time you take a trip to Paris. Now, we obviously couldn't find a picture of the tower illuminated, so the lovely Ben has created one for you. Beautiful. Skills, darling, skills.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, 2 minutes. We've got all the time in the world at the moment. Now, one of the darkest moments in Paris history. Can everyone hear me okay? Are we all good? Because can everyone hear?
I know.
I'm really worried I'm not talking.
Everyone likes my picture.
Can you all hear me? Thumbs up if you hear me okay. Yeah? Is there... Yeah? So yeah, good. Thank you, darlings. Right, so one of the darkest...
Ivan says, can we hear him?
No.
No, sorry, Ivan.
No, you're not screaming loud enough. Now, one of the darkest moments in Paris's history was the German occupation during World War II. Displeased Parisians took their part in the world effort in their own style. For example, in June 1940, Adolf Hitler came for a quick visit to Paris after he had been admiring for his whole life the city because of his taste for art and architecture. Now, after visiting the opera in Montmartre, his plans was to visit the top of the Eiffel Tower. However, the cables of the elevators going to the top of the tower had been mysteriously cut overnight. Interesting, which prevented the German from climbing the top of the capital's emblem. I think we can all agree that this was highly symbolic. So the story goes, murky as it may be, that after this event, Hitler ordered that the tower was destroyed. Now, thankfully, the general that he gave that order to ignored the command, and so we are still lucky enough to have that beautiful Eiffel Tower today. Lovely. So, on a side note, just speaking of war, and for a little bit, it's not a pleasant thing to speak about, the French army was the first to use camouflage. Now, the word camouflage roughly translates to make up for the stage, which we all love doing. And the French army began wearing camouflage in 1915, which was during World War I. Now, going back to the Eiffel Tower, there have been some absolutely bloody nutcases that have attempted stunts by climbing up the outside. My two cousins climbed up the outside framework of the Eiffel Tower. But the most ludicrous idiot was Franco-Austrian tailor in 1912 wanted to try out his new prototype of an aviator suit which converted into a parachute. So he jumped from the second floor of the Eiffel Tower. His system didn't work and he died instantly on impact. How grim. I think it's about time. Cheesy facts. facts? Should we go for some cheesy facts? I think so. Little Jopo?
Sweet dreams are made of cheese. Who am I to disagree?
Wonderful. Thank you, Joe. That's gorgeous. Right, so cheese production around the globe is more than the combined worldwide production of coffee, tobacco, tea and cocoa beans, with the fat bastards in the US producing the most amount of cheese annually, even though some cheeses are illegal in America. Interesting. Quite possibly the most bizarre cheese on earth is called Casu Marzu, which is a pecorino wheel that is studded with holes and left outside. Now flies lay eggs inside the cheese, then resulting in maggots which eat away through the cheese, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Now the whole mess is eaten, maggots optional, and is considered a delicacy in Sardinia. What do you think about that, Mini Jopo?
Say what?
Say what indeed? That is disgusting. Now moose cheese, that is one of the rarest foods on earth. In fact, only 3 mooses in the world, or they're called mice, 3 moose in the world are used to produce cheese. They all live in Sweden and they produce milk for a company called the Elk House. Now this cheese is made in complete silence and is produced in very limited quantities, and it sells for about £450 per pound. Jopo, what's your thoughts?
Shh. We're Milsmookin. Mookie Milson. Moose milking. Shh. Moosey milk.
I think Mini Jopo was trying to say that she was milsmooking or something to that effect. Anyway, let's move on to our next destination. And whilst we're on the way, I can tell you a little bit more about this beautiful city. Did you know that the government of Paris prohibited Tom Cruise from being an honorary citizen of the city? As some of you know, Tom Cruise is a member of a religious organisation, Scientology, which has an alternative body of beliefs and practices. Since 1995, France has classified the Church of Scientology as a cult. I love this. And therefore opposing the organisation. In 2005, Tom Cruise was working to become an honorary citizen, but the government blocked that move by passing an official law prohibiting Tom Cruise from becoming a citizen because of his affiliation with the Scientology cult. Hit it! Come on!
Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more.
Brilliant. That's hilarious. Now, bad news from Mini Jopo. I've heard on the grapevine some bad news. After her little stunt with the Eiffel Tower at the weekend, the government are apparently drawing up a similar plan. Sorry, Joe. I can't bear to watch. Oh, gosh. Time about 5 minutes. Right, so next up, here we are, the Louvre. Thank you, Mini Jopo. So the Louvre is the world's largest art gallery and museum, boasting over 38,000 pieces of art within its walls. It's located at the very centre of Paris by the River Seine. Last year, it had over 10 million visitors that passed through its doors, making it the most visited gallery on the planet. The Louvre opened to the public in 1793, not long after the French Revolution, And this made it possible for the common people to finally see artwork that was only the royal French family and aristocracy previously had access to, and the public was allowed free entry for 3 days a week. Now, during the Second World War, the Louvre staff managed to smuggle out valuable pieces of art before the Nazis occupied Paris. After liberation, the staff brought the hidden artwork back, but mystery still remains of where they had hidden it for the duration of the war. Interesting. Now, the Louvre's most heavily trafficked piece of art.
I'm a bit behind. Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm well
We're all
behind,
good.
sorry,
We're all
that's
good.
me.
We're all good. So, the most heavily trafficked piece of art is the Mona Lisa by Renaissance master Leonardo da Vinci. And that artwork is apparently insured for £2 billion. Goodness me. In 1911, the Mona Lisa was stolen by Italian thief Vincenzo Perugia, making it the greatest art theft of the 20th century. Now, he was a former employee of the Louvre, and he dressed in his old uniform, and he just simply went in and took it off the wall. Well, no one was watching, apparently. Simple as that. He was caught 2 years later when he tried to sell it to an art dealer in Italy, and he later served less than 1 year in prison. You would get more time for stealing a Mars bar nowadays. Bonkers. The judicial system. Jokes. Anyway, I think it's about time for some cheesy facts.
Like a cheese stick, like a cheese stick, like a cheese stick. Like a cheese stick.
Thank you, Minnie Jo Po. Right, here we go. We're going to offend some people again. Do you know lactose intolerant people can eat cheese? Minnie Jo Po, what do you think?
Lactose intolerant? Lactose intolerant? What do you mean? Lactose intolerant?
It's well said, exactly well said. If you are lactose intolerant, you don't have to say goodbye to cheese forever. You just have to pick the right kinds. Aged cheeses have less lactose than fresh and usually can be enjoyed without discomfort. Think cheeses like Brie, Camembert, Cheddar, Gouda and Swiss. I don't think that would make too shabby a cheese board, would you? Besides, when cheese is digested, it breaks down into an opioid. Duncan would know about this, he's a scientist. Other opioids you might know are heroin and morphine. I have other friends that know about those. But so it would be fun to try, hey? So anyway, when I was a kid, you went to school, you drank your milk, or you got a clip on the ear. Simple. Lactose intolerance, indeed. Right, before we offend anyone else, I think we've offended the French and now people with dietary needs. Let's move on to our next destination. And whilst we're moving on, oh, hello, still got me.
Yeah, it's better than milk.
Oh, wasn't I cute? Right, what
Still are.
What happened? So, as we go to our next destination, it's a good chance for me to let you know, interesting fact, that there are more dogs in Paris than there are children. Bit like the Bedford Tavern, eh? So, oh, I missed that place. Dogs are about a man's best friends, we all know this, but in Paris, they take the best friend level to a whole new realm. Parisians spend nearly £500,000 annually just to make sure that their dogs are well groomed and cared for. Ooh la la. Now, however, with every highlight there's always a low point. There's one fact that remains. Dog poops are found all over Paris. On the pavements of the cobbled streets, in the beautiful parks, and regrettably on the soles of our shoes. These shitty little pups account for more than 20 tons of poop each day, left there by over 300,000 dogs. This would easily fill 3 Olympic swimming pools. Disgusting! if I was out and about with a dog and I would have to pick up a pee, I would instantly go to my Brighton Gin hand sanitizer, which was supposed to have been here, which I forgot to put. But we do have a little plug. Brighton Gin hand sanitizer. I do not leave my home without it, especially during our current climate. Hit the Brighton Gin website. Every one bottle of this you buy, 2 bottles, a gorgeous Brighton Gin team. They give 2 bottles to an organisation in need, key workers, people in need. They are gorgeous people, and they will hand deliver on their little push bikes if you live locally, or they will ship it out. It smells gorgeous, rosemary and mint. I have nearly used up mine, so I will be buying some more next week. It's a gorgeous product, gorgeous people. Anyway, shameless plug over. Let's move. Should we move on to our next destination? John. Hello, John, my BFF. Mwah. Love you, love you, love you. Right, here we go. The catacombs. Thank you, Minnie Jopo. So here they are, the catacombs. They're in Paris somewhere. Just head to the pink circle and you'll find them. So the Paris catacombs are an underground network beneath the streets, and they are the final resting place of over 6 million people. 500,000 visitors head down to the dark catacombs each year, and upon entry they are greeted with a sign saying, "Stop! Hammer time!" No, that was just my crap joke. No. That actually says, "Stop! This is the Empire of Death," which is equally as grim as that joke. Now, officially opened in 1810, the catacombs were a burial site from the 1780s onwards due to the overflowing cemeteries above ground that were leading to the spread of disease. I'm just going to have a little drink so I can feel my throat closing up. Sorry. Cheers, everyone. Oh, that's better. Now, many of the bones, they weren't just thrown down into these catacombs. Workers often created macabre art installations of all sorts, including the well-famed one called the Barrel. Just here. Now, the real size of the catacombs is unknown, but it is estimated that it's around 320 kilometres in total. Now, much of these are inaccessible and yet to be explored. However, they often do have unauthorised visitors. Now, these mysterious adventurers call themselves cataphiles. Cataphile, not paedophile, it's a different thing. And they obviously have very tight-knit connections, because they boast about swimming in pools of water found throughout the underground network. In 2004, police found an entire cinema, restaurant, bar and power connected in the depths of the catacombs. It even had CCTV, and they also found a note saying, "Do not try and find us." To this day, the police have never found out who was partying down there, but I imagine it was rather like Saturday bear night at Sublime. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I wouldn't know. I'm a girl. I can't get in unless it's bear night. So, on we go. In 2017, 2 adventurous teenagers were lost in the catacombs for 3 whole days, and they were only found thanks to sniffer dogs. They were physically fine, although they were obviously very cold and scared. But let's call it what it is. Who knows the extent of the psychological damage they developed due to being trapped inside a place for so long. Oh, it's bad thinking about it. Anyway, currently only 1 short mile of this amazing Paris attraction is accessible to the public, so who knows? We can only imagine what simply lurks beneath the rest of the busy streets of Paris. Spooky! Oof, after that, I think it's about time. So let's have some cheesy facts, eh?
What I like about cheese is that you can put it on veggies and it tastes so good. Yeah!
Thank you. God, the cheesy fact, they get better, don't they? Anyway, cheesecake are a real thing. Storing cheese in caves, whether natural or man-made, helps them age, and it helps them give them another level of flavour. Now, the caves are cool and humid, which is exactly what cheese needs to age properly. European cheesemakers used natural caves before we had modern refrigeration, because these are cool, dank environments. You right, Ben?
Yeah, I'm crap.
You
Sorry.
alright?
I can't do
Do
food.
you want a little minute?
Yeah. Can I go to the toilet?
I know, it's hard working with professionals, isn't it? Bless you. So, Ben's just having a little minute. It's fine. I'm going to use this opportunity to have a little drink. Maybe say hello to people. Hello, everyone! 4, 3, 2, okay. Come on, I didn't get my drink. Come on. We're going to run over half an hour at this rate. Sorry, guys.
You're already out.
Oh, oh, God.
There's no one complaining, so we're all good.
Good. Thank you. I love you all. Right, where have we got to?
I don't know.
Cheese caves! Oh no, it's modern refrigeration.
Yeah, I know
Because
where we are.
these
Yeah.
cool, dank environments are perfect for aging well-known European specimens such as Camembert, Roquefort or Gorgonzola. Okay, so cheese wheels! We all love a cheese wheel, don't we? And they were a popular invention of the time because the traditional lazy bastard cheesemakers realised that they could roll their wares instead of trying to carry them. Rollers. Okay, another quick fact before we move on. Despite popular belief, mice actually do not like cheese. Given the choice, they would prefer sweets and carbs. Sure, they'll eat cheese if there's anything around, but I think that applies to anything that's hungry. You should see what I've dug out of bins in the past. Moving on. Oh dear. Right, so we're going to go to our final destination, but quickly as we're moving on, I want to let you know a little bit more information about this really interesting phenomenon. It's a really strange phenomenon and it's called Paris syndrome. Paris syndrome, which is, simply put, a collection of physical and psychological symptoms such as depression, anxiety, sweating and feelings of persecution experienced by first-time visitors realising that Paris isn't, in fact, what they thought it would be. Japanese visitors are especially susceptible to this culture shock and are unable to separate their idyllic view of the city seen in such films as Amelie with the reality of the modern bustling metropole covered in dog poo. Indeed. Yes, I've been. It stinks. God, I hope there's no one French watching. Anyway, final destination. Let's move on. Bit of glamour. To the Moulin Rouge, ladies and gentlemen. The Moulin Rouge. Thank you, Millie Jo Poe. Let's hit me with that map. Woo! So here it is. If you want to know where the Moulin Rouge is, head for the pink circle. Okay. Let's look at the map of Paris. Head for the pink circle. Oh, I've gone too far. Whoops. The Moulin Rouge. It means French windmill in French, and it's a cabaret that opened in Paris in 1889. Located at the bottom of Montmartre Hill, it has been the bohemian place to go that offers a glamorous show and a hedonistic atmosphere, with wild and colourful dance shows performed by topless women dancing with whirls of feather boas, sparkles and sequins. The show that they offer nowadays is a singing and dancing show with shining costumes and stunning choreographies called Fairy. Now, the impressive 600,000 people visit the Moulin Rouge every year, and it's more than 100 years old. The cabaret is a Parisian institute that one cannot simply pass up. Its atypical architecture and headline acts have attracted people of all diversities to the Paris's 18th district. Now, visiting the Moulin Rouge is a most fancy experience. Black ties and evening dresses are the appropriate things to wear to go inside the Moulin Rouge. Sport shoes, tracksuits, flip-flops, and shorts, are strictly forbidden. So the Moulin Rouge Cabaret has influenced history, particularly with the discovery of the infamous can-can dance. Now this dance was apparently invented in England, but they found it too shocking. But the France loved it and it was a huge success. The French can-can is a dance for women only, and it's about doing the high split, showing off all the laces of their dresses. Now, lucky you, I was going to give you a demonstration of the said dance, lucky, but there is only one person that can really truly bring this dance to life. There's only one person that can do that impressive high leg kick with such
Oh, you know what it is?
Oh,
Alan Brax! Where are you?
Oh, you know what it is?
It's time for you to like it! Woo! Woo! Woo!
I can't do that at the event. Aren't you all glad about that?
Thank you, Adam. But you can do it on my 50-inch TV. Thank you. Woo! Right. Anyway, going back to the can-can. Sometimes this move was used as a warning to men taking unwanted liberties, threatening to kick their face in if they persisted. Rock on, girl power. Other times, the high kick would be used to win a bet, where the woman vows to be able to remove a man's hat without using her hands, sometimes resulting in a man getting a broken nose. Whoops. But yet, hey, no hands were used, so the bet was won. Girl power. Yay! Right. Now, this awe-inspiring dance show was once considered to be scandalous. Now, this was largely due to the fact... Oh, can we have some music, darling?
yeah.
This was largely... Oh, that's better. This was largely due to the fact that the women wore pantalettes. Now, these had open crutch, meaning that this high kick could be unintentionally too revealing, propagating fears of prostitution. Oh dear. Okay, so it's time now for our final cheesy facts of the evening.
This is cheese.
They get better, don't they? Brilliant. Loving the cheesy facts. You guys are going to love this cheesy fact. This is the best one. Okay. Did you know that cheese can be made from human bacteria? And celebrities are doing just that. What do you think about that, Jopo? You in there? She loves showing off. I've told her about showing off. She loves showing off. If anyone didn't understand that, that was French for say what? Moving on. Buying one of David Bowie's suits or collecting a lock of Madonna's hair is a kind of feasible idea if you're a fan, but can you imagine sinking your teeth into a piece of cheese that's made from their armpit bacteria? Yuck. Well, an exhibit in the Victoria and Albert Museum asks just that, taking celebrity culture to the next level by showing off 5 different types of cheese made from microbes collected by British celebrities. Not the ones shown here. The museum explains, milk transforms into curds by a unique starter culture or bacteria, which determines whether it will ripen into a nice cheddar or a Gouda. And it turns out that many of the bacteria used to make this cheese is similar to the bacteria found on human skin. This is why sometimes the stinky scent of feet is the same for stinky cheese. So scientists and cheesemakers from a London biolab collected bacteria from celebrity armpits, ears, noses and belly buttons. And the bacteria was grown in a lab until suitable for cheese making. Now Suggs, the singer of the band Madness, he chose to be immortalised in cheddar. Alex James, bassist of the band Blur, chose Cheshire cheese. Celebrity chef Heston Blumenthal went for Compton, and Great British Bake Off runner-up Ruby Tando chose Stilton. Now rapper Professor Green, who admitted that he truly hates cheese, insisted that his belly button bacteria be turned into mozzarella, the only cheese he can almost tolerate. Well, there you go. I think I might pass on the celebrity cheese. So, here we go. Almost there. That is the end of this evening's tour. I really hope you've had a thrilling time and learnt some cheesy facts on the way. We've got a little mini Jopo that would like to say goodbye to you all for now. You in there, darling?
Emportez-vous, I'll be Mindy. Elle Lulu, elle est plutôt. Au revoir.
Au revoir, bless her. We were shit at languages at school, I'm so sorry. Also, I'd like to say a massive thank you to the gorgeous Bobo, gone above and beyond once again. I've been a talking Mona Lisa, I've knocked the Eiffel Tower over, I've done loads of things, all with this really old laptop that's older than me. I mean, he is so clever. Thank you. Thank you again for watching. And if anyone would like to make a donation or leave a tip, remember 50% of this is going to the charity Rise. It's a wonderful charity that supports victims of domestic abuse. Now, I could give you some up-to-date statistics. I won't do that because I will turn into a blubbering mess and start crying and getting over emotional, and you know I love a good cry. Just look at the news, just Google it, it's hideous. Also, there's lots of other people doing loads of wonderful things online. Just try and just have a look about and do your best to try and support each other and get through this really weird lockdown situation all together. Please, let's just stay kind, stay safe, stay inside, stay clean, stay connected, do all the staying good, positive staying things. But for now, this is how we're gonna end. Sound of Music. We've got a COVID-19 remake of a song from one of my favourite musicals, Sound of Music, which I'm going to leave you with this evening. Thank you all once again for joining me. This is insane, what am I doing? But I had really good fun this week doing this. If you want more, please hit me up, because we've got, there's a whole world to explore.
Ivan's asking what's next week.
What's next? Well, we're thinking of San Francisco. But anyway, that's another story. That's for next week.
Thank you for your lovely messages at the end.
Oh, thank you. I'm really struggling with the tech and trying to. Next week, I'll hopefully be able to do a bit more of that and tuning in to you guys. And I know I really appreciate you all watching me.
See you next week. Yay!
So it's next one. We'll see. Right, hit me with the Sound of Music thing. Come on. Love this.
Why do we stay here?
Well, this virus is really quite a problem, and it's making people sick.
The virus must be nasty.
Yes, really.
I want to go out. I'm so lonely. It makes me want to cry.
Well now, if anything bothers me and I'm feeling unhappy, I just try to think of nice things.
What kind of things?
Oh, well, let me see. Nice things. Lazy days. No work clothes. Nice stocked up bar. Watching old movies. And raiding the kitchen.
Browsing online, I can feel my addiction. Staying in bed, having no alarms ring. Nothing to do, it's my favorite thing.
lollies and noodles, wild parties singing and living like kings. Being in lockdown is my favourite thing. Playing Grand Theft Auto with guns and car crashes, not doing makeup or curling eyelashes. We hate Corona with all that it brings, but staying at home is my favourite thing. Placing landmarks, ways of working, always glad to add. I simply do all of my favourite things, and then I don't feel so sad.
Mwah! Thank you all!
Thanks, guys.